5 books and counting. The Tales from the Omni Vault continues to expand as a universe. Go ahead and check the links down in the description to get your copies today. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni Viewer. And like I hinted at in the last video, I'm going to do just a quick little look at the Valaverse Legend of the White Dragon 2-pack. That comes with the White Dragon and Dragon Prime. The super articulated figures for a movie that has yet to be released, as of this video anyway. So, overall, let's start with the aesthetics. The aesthetics are fine. The suits, as we can see, like I mentioned, this is clearly meant to be somewhat Power Rangers Super Sentai inspired, although obviously different here, as you can see, got its own style going. You can recognize certain things like the shield around the collar area, the Saurian design of the helmet, but overall, I would say they have enough originality to them that nobody's really going to be looking at them and saying it's just a Power Rangers ripoff. It's more homage, you can see that. And pretty much all the way around, the figures look good, although I must point out, White Dragon isn't quite white, is he? Now, we must also address the elephant in the room here and acknowledge that, yes, these two figures are, for all intents and purposes, repaints of each other. White Dragon, Dragon Prime, basically exactly the same figure. Look at them, right? Same mold, same helmet designs, same weapon on the same arm. The only real difference is the paint. In fact, the only difference in terms of sculpt, because there are a bunch of alternate hands and whatnot, but the only real difference is the heads, which obviously, if you have the unhelmeted heads, they're going to look different because it's different people underneath. And quick aside, they are clearly different and they look fairly accurate to what we see in the trailers. So I know, or at least I have my suspicion, that this was a cost-cutting measure because, this is a low-budget indie movie. They have to figure out how to save money somehow. But I'm going to reserve judgment on whether or not I think it's cheap until I actually see the movie, because there is a way that they could have it work and have it be completely organic, and it seems like that's what they're aiming for. So, like I said, overall designs look good. It looks fairly movie accurate. One issue I'm having, however, is that they both have these stands, which again are just copies of each other but differently colored, with the White Dragon logo on them, little mask symbol in there, cracked ground looking stuff. And there are all sorts of pegs around here that are meant to have you secure them to, because they have holes on the bottoms of their feet. Now, I am having a hard time actually getting them to stay. As you can see, I'm trying to push it in, and it's proving to be a little difficult. I'm sure if I really wedged it, I could have it work, and as long as I have them positioned just right, they're not necessarily going to fall, unless I jostle the table, at which point, yeah, they're going to collapse. Which, that is a bit annoying. I haven't usually had that problem with these kinds of figures. But, like I said, you can get them to stay. It's just a little tricky. Now, what about the articulation? Well, whatever I say for one is going to go for the other. And the articulation, I'd say, for the most part, is good. It feels like there are gears or notches in the joints, which the joints allow for all kinds of movement. Like the elbows and knees, they are not just a single hinge. They're double stuff. There's the thigh, the knee, the shin, instead of just one leg piece, two leg piece. And they're not the easiest to move, but once you have them moved, they'll hold the pose. There's no question about that. The collar feels a little bit loose somehow, but there's no way it's coming off unless you remove the head. And, well, I have no doubt that once you have it in a pose, it's going to hold that pose, which is the idea. But, you know, overall, I would say that the set's not necessarily cheap, but normally you'd be paying like the same price for one super articulated figure as opposed to two, even if the two are essentially the same. So, you know, I guess in that regard, it's not a bad deal. Like I said, though, kind of hard to get them to stand upright without the stands, and the stands aren't necessarily conducive to holding them up. So, these figures are not perfect. I'm going to say that right up front. They're not perfect. I have found a couple of problems with them, like not being able to stand on the bases properly, although maybe that just takes a little finagling. Or the fact that they do take a little bit of elbow grease in order to get them moving. So, you know, as imperfect as they are, I do still think they're pretty cool, but would I recommend them for everyone? I mean, we can't really base whether or not we get these on the movie because, again, the movie's not out yet. Nobody's seen it. Nobody knows if it's actually going to be good or bad. But I can think of two major reasons why you might want to get these. First of all, because you might be a hardcore Power Rangers fan who either just really digs the whole Elseworlds design of these things, or you're just fed up with Hasbro and want to go in an alternate direction, or perhaps because you are a fan of Jason David Frank, may he rest in peace, and you want to get this because you're commemorating him in his last role. It wouldn't be so much about the figure as it is the man behind the mask. For more casual collectors, I mean, if you're just somebody who displays these on a shelf, you got to ask, are these designs cool enough to warrant being on your shelf? If you're somebody who likes doing toy photography, you got to ask yourself, can you work with these things, either with other characters or just by themselves? Those are the major questions. And, I mean, like I said, they're imperfect. I do like the designs. I like the overall concept. I'm sure I can figure out something interesting to do with them if in terms of photography or something. But just give it some thought, at least. Give it some thought about why you would want to get these. And I do think that if this is your way of paying homage to JDF, that's not a bad reason, certainly. So that's all I can really say about Legend of the White Dragon for now until we get the movie. So until such time as that happens, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. Thank you all for watching. Now be sure to head down to the description to check us out on other platforms, as well as find links to the 5 current books in the Tales from the Omni Vault universe. Again, thank you all, and we'll see you next time.